Go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Utilities Committee for August 27th. Madam Secretary, show all members present with the exception of Councilman Turner, who is on the way. Tonight, the invocation will be led by Council Chairman Randy Kluwat, immediately be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please rise.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this blessed day, for this fair weather that we got a little break. Lord, thank you for keeping the hurricanes out of our way. Lord, let's continue to look to our neighbors and see who's in need. Lord, we ask for special intentions for the families of the fallen police officers here within the last couple of weeks here in Louisiana. We ask that you look after all law enforcement and emergency personnel and those that respond to help us out. We ask that you look over them and keep the angels close. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate that. Item number 3, chairs additions. We don't have any chairs additions tonight. Number 4, public comment period. Anyone wishing to talk on any of the agenda items, come up, sign in with the secretary. You'll be given 3 minutes when that item comes up on the agenda. Item number 5 is update on Highway 42 and 73 projects. Is that you, Mr. Bob?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. In brief summary, on Highway 42, we have received our DHH permit that is allowing us to move forward with the force main and the treatment plant upgrades at the Oak Grove school system, and the parish is moving forward to get those bid documents all pulled together and get that out so we can move forward with that. Concurrently, DOTD is negotiating with the contractor to do an additional portion of gravity from Highway 44 over to Muddy Creek. It's in an area where they're tapering back from the road widening to the existing, and they're doing scheduling pricing of that. And then as well, they're finishing up the utility relocations in the original bid area so that the road project can move forward with the bidding. Under Highway 73, all of the tail lines, with the exception of 3 tail lines, have been connected in. Everything from the tail line standpoint is working well. We've got 3 tail lines that we're currently working to get those connected. We have to extend them or collect them and extend them to the sewer system that has been constructed. And we're also finalizing our treatment agreement with AWT to allow us then to convert over from tail lines to actual receipt of raw sewage.
Okay. I understand that we had some issues, or what's the status with the permit with DHH for the 42?
We've received it.
We've got it all right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's been resolved?
Yeah, that's been resolved.
Any questions? All right. Moving on to item number 6, updates on the MODAD utilities. Nope. Okay. I talked to Ken Dawson today. He contacted PSC today, and what happened, we went back to the Public Service Commission back several months ago when MODAD was working to get a rate increase. Agreement that was struck was that they would provide us with updated information as they progress with the project. And from what I understand from the Public Service Commission, they haven't filed the documents to go for the financials that they need in order to get the rate increase. So the rate increase is on hold until they present that. So basically there is no updates that they're turning into the parish right now. That's why we were questioning it, but they haven't progressed with their updates to their system. So until that happens, we won't be receiving any updates on that. So moving on to item number 7 is an update on the water utilities grants. Stephen, you got that one?
Yes, we currently have funds allocated for a community water enrichment fund grant. We're going to use this grant to purchase 2 chemical disinfection systems. We'll take these systems and we'll place them within our water distribution network in order to give us more control over disinfectant levels.
Stephen,
Councilman Joseph.
those locations, that's gonna be on the north, I would say on, by the tower of Lemonville or that area, and one on the south end, I mean, the east end and the west end?
Yeah, for the Assumption side, we'll put one probably near the point of entry, and then one near maybe the McCall Water Tower. On the St. James side, we'll put one near one of the point of entries, based on a hydraulic analysis.
So that's where both of them is,
Yeah.
okay, separate, okay, great.
Mr. President?
Two other grants that we've been working on. One of them is for $500,000 with the Corps. We're going to utilize that money, hopefully, if we do the deal with People's Water, to connect our services to People's Water services. Plus, there's another $3.24 million in grant money that would be a 25% match that we could utilize on possibly on upgrading the water system on the West Bank. So it could be, it's a good deal. Hadn't finalized that one, but the $500,000 is done, so that's a done deal. So.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Past President. Next one, number 8, is a discussion RFP for private-public partnership for the East Side Sewer. So you have that, Parish President, I know, or we've got an RFP, or is that?
I provided,
O'Neill?
we
Right.
did an RF, that was,
Go ahead, I'm going to let
I'll take.
O'Neill handle, okay.
Okay.
Well, this is not the first time we've tried this, so I took all the RFPs that we had, put them all together and presented it, and this is just an RFP to go out for proposals to do this project. Bring it to y'all first. If y'all see any changes that need to be made, we'll look at them and see if we can legally do them. But basically, this is just the proposal to put out and to seek someone to come in and do the sewer project.
And I know we sent that out to all the council members for their review.
Yes.
With the potential that this may go on the agenda for the next council meeting. I don't know if anybody's got any questions that they want to raise at this time about the proposal.
No, I'd just like to make a comment on it. I
Councilman
mean,
Joseph?
this is one of the issues that we've been trying to, the point we've been trying to get to for the last years, and we done tried everything else under the sun, and it's the last resort of private and public partnership. And I didn't see anything in it that would, derail the project of anything. And I mean, I compliment you on putting those things in there. I see the changes that was made in there that they need to be made.
This is about the second or third time we've tried to do this, so they had some others. I can't claim all the work. I just took the other people's work and put it all together.
Councilman Sadler?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a comment. It's just to amplify what Councilman Joseph had to say. It's my understanding that this council has been working on this since 1992, and that 3 times we've tried. If you count this, I guess it's the 3rd time. In each case, it always got back to what we're here today about, and that is the possibility of a public-private partnership for sewer in the parish. I've read the RFPs, and I think Mr. Parrington and whoever else had a hand in that did an excellent job. And so I'm here tonight to move this ball forward. I hope my fellow colleagues here on this committee as well as on the full committee, because I know the only thing we can do here tonight is make recommendations. And so, Mr. Chairman, if you're ready for that, there's no further discussion. I would move that we recommend to the full council that we go out with this go forward with this RFP.
We have a motion by Councilman Sadler.
Second.
Second by Councilman Turner. Any other discussion? So, just to chime in with everybody else, I mean, this has been a long road that the parish has tried many times before, and in the last 3+ years with this committee, we've worked pretty diligently to try to come up with something that we can put forward to resolve the issue of sewer on the east side of the parish. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing what we get back and evaluations that come out of this to see if we can actually make some progress in this, and look forward to doing it. And I encourage the full council to adopt it and go out for the RFP as well. Mr. Kluwat.
Yeah, once again, I want to chime in, and I'm sure you guys that are not talking right now feel the same way. But I want to reflect on you guys, this committee. I know the road trips, the volumes of law, and everything that you've read on it and studied up and worked hard a lot of time, and to get up and get behind it, and to have the courage to go out and try to move it forward. And once again, Parish President and the administration for bringing it to fruition. There you go, one of them. Anyway, and I look forward to that coming to the council, because I think what we got is we're gonna see a good result at the end of this. And I appreciate you guys' hard work and getting it done, and your diligence and sticking to it, all of y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lowell.
I think the difference this time in looking and reviewing the RFP is that we are now targeting a kind of a higher level in terms of capital infusion and some of the details around the skills and experience with requiring whoever this partner would be to operate the sewer system. So it's a little bit more, I think, of what we need. And of course, the devil's in the details. Looking forward to really digging through those proposals, but I'm hopeful that with this RFP, we can really take a huge step forward. Thanks.
Councilman Shapley.
Yeah, just thank you, Mr. Chairman. One more comment before the vote. Some of you may know I wrote a rather stinging opinion piece recently, about 10 days ago, into the Pelican Post, talking a lot about the subdivision approvals that have been going on. And I can't say here of late, for the last three or 4 years with the current commission, and then prior to that when I served as a commissioner for a brief year. The growth continues to be sort of, I'll use the word that I used back then, and in the opinion piece, unbridled. In retrospect, I only talked a lot in that piece about the traffic issues, but of course a bigger, not a bigger, but an as big perhaps piece is the sewer itself. Just like we have all these cars now on the road, and I understand we have 24 subdivisions already through the approval process, another 8 pending, and then I read the newspaper this morning, and I see there's another one in the Dutchtown area off of Highway 73, very close to my district, where an additional 300 more homes are planned. And, you know, the typical doubling, they say every time, that's 2 cars per, but no one counts toilets. And just like these people have to drive in their cars, they have to flush their toilets. And not to make a joke of it, some people have toilets in their vehicles, in the RVs, but eventually that's got to go somewhere too. So I think it's high time, and I'm pleased. It sounds like the discussion so far has been favorable, that we're going to get a favorable vote here tonight, hopefully at the full commission. I have, for the last, along with everybody in this committee, worked really hard, been on these little field trips that were described in our state and in surrounding states, seeing what can be done. I think what Chris said is important too, that you know, what is different now, that there's a good possibility we're going to get some folks responding to this RFP that can put up substantial amounts of money, which, coupled with that SRF loan that we've talked about so much, $60 million, 0.95% from the state of Louisiana, that we could even go further. That really tickles me than just the modified P16 plan that we originally had, which was pretty much inclusive of just the 70769 zip code, or the Prairieville area. Now we could go, well, I've heard estimates as high as maybe 2/3 of the entire East Bank. So I encourage all my colleagues this evening, push forward with this, and my motion stands.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, that motion passes. Moving on to item 9, was a discussion of acquisition of People's Water Company. Mr. President.
We're here tonight. We had come before you one time before, and we talked about offering $5 million to purchase People's Water. Well, we've been in negotiation now for several months, and we've come back, and at that time they were at 7.5, and we were at 5, so we've kind of met in the middle here and basically agreed upon a price pending council approval at 5.9 million. And basically what would happen is that we would purchase it. The things that they would want to do is to keep the personnel for at least 6 months that they have, the current personnel, which is reasonable, and no reason if they do a good job that they couldn't stay on forever. But, you know, of course, they would have to do the work. We're not just going to say we're going to hire you and for 6 months and guarantee you a job. So I'm just going to say that, you know, I think it's a good deal. I think I've given you some paperwork here to look at, and right now we're currently losing money on that, on the ACUD one. This year we're going to lose quite amoeba problem, and flushing water. I think about $250,000 worth of water we've flushed out. So with this deal, I made a few points on the bottom. Basically, what happens is that you know, you would increase that nobody here, and hopefully understand that we're going to have to go up on the rates in Donaldsonville, in the city. We're basing the numbers that you see on a 33% increase across the board. Now, what happens to that, we come back in and we're going to, it says 4.1 million, but I think that's to pay off the debt. The 5 million would be to go in and refurbish the utility. Hopefully, that's what that 33% increase will bring to the citizens there. Hopefully, we'll get better pipe, better infrastructure in the ground, and more pressure, and hopefully can get the fire rating down. So hopefully at the end of that scenario, that 33% increase will be absorbed by lowering their insurance. So we've looked at it, we put all the numbers together. I've had Falk and Winkler to do this. What comes out is that you're going to have a refinance the debt for $4.1 million and $5 million, whether we borrow it from different agencies in the state or we bond it out or whatever. It'll be about a 3% interest rate. So you got the numbers here, and the debt service would be $612,000. That'll leave us with a positive cash flow of about $525,000 a year. And if you really look at it, we're showing depreciation of $424,000. So basically, your net operating cash flow would actually go up to about $1.1 million. Plus, the good thing about it is you wouldn't be losing money every year and putting money into something. It was time for this to happen because there was no way that two water companies could operate there and either one be successful. So I think this is good for the future of the West Bank. I think it's good for in the East Bank. There's some possibilities here that comes with this. And you know, maybe that $3 million the Corps is talking about, since you have to bore under in the river, it could be a good thing to utilize that for. So that's just one thought process. So anyway, I think it's a great deal for everyone concerned here, and I think it'll work, and it's a step in the right direction. So I'm here to, I guess, ask you to give us permission to move forward with the 5.9 offer, and to go ahead and be able to agree to the terms, send that to the council, and then the council could approve it, and then we'd have to do, anytime we acquire
Mr.
real
President,
property.
I'm gonna make that motion real fast. We know.
Let me finish, though.
we
But
need to approve
anytime you acquire
$5.9
real
million.
property, you got to go through an ordinance process, which would take about 6 to 8 weeks. So we're looking at probably December.
All right.
I'll second the motion.
November, December, before we would actually negotiate and finalize the deal. So that's what I'm here for, and asking you tonight.
We got a motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Lower
To
to
introduce it as an ordinance.
introduce.
No, we're just gonna, we gotta make the recommendation to the council next meeting
Okay.
to do the deal, and then we'll do the introduction next meal if everybody agrees.
You know, I'm just,
So moving that to the council.
Just trying to
Moving it to the council for a positive recommendation.
And let me suggest,
Sure,
add
Mr.
one
Payne.
other thing. The acquisition will be by ACUD number 2. That way we'll have a utility company, we'll have an operating agreement between ACUD number 2 and ACUD number 1. And the ACUD number 1 will still be in existence because the millage will operate to pay for the infrastructure that's previously been built outside the city. So we just want to make sure, and that's why it won't be melded into one, but eventually with the 2 utility districts working together, the plan is ultimately one day there'll be one utility district throughout the entire parish.
Okay, very good. And I'd like to go ahead and take this opportunity to thank Parish President and the rest of the administration for some hard work and dedication on sticking with this, doing it, in my opinion, the right way. We've got somebody out there to do due diligence on the equipment and the system to make sure what kind of shape it's in, make sure we understood what that was and what the value that was. We also had Falk and Winkler come in and do some financials on it and make the recommendations of where we are from a financial standpoint of view and what would actually work for the parish to make this a viable option for us. And we started out at $5 million, like the parish president said, and in the negotiation phase, people brought forth some information that they thought we need to go back and reevaluate, and we did that, and so that's where we came up with the 5.9. So it wasn't just a number that was grabbed out there. The 5.9 is something that the auditors, as the numbers here prove, can work, and it is worthwhile to do it at that rate. And so I encourage members of this committee as well as the members of the full council to go forward with this. I agree with the parish president. I think it's a step in the right direction for the parish and as far as utilities are concerned for the citizens. And so any other comments? Councilman Joseph?
well, the president
I want to say also that there's a couple options here, but from most of you guys, when I've talked to you, you talk about you want to pay it cash money.
Yeah.
From utility district number 2. If not, there was some figures that were thrown around that if you borrow $15 million, your net flow would end up being about $300 and something thousand. So either way, but if we can pay cash, we do have. I've checked in the account. If we buy people's outright, we would still have about $2 million in ACUD number 2 fund balance and about $1.1 million in a capital outlay construction fund. So that's up to you. I'm just giving you options.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, if we got it in the fund, instead of borrowing money to buy it, pay for it cash, and then turn around, borrow some money, and then you can, like you were talking about earlier, you can pay the debt off for ACUD 1, do some needed improvements to the system, and hopefully get a benefit fairly directly with the potential for lowering the fire insurance rates on the West Bank and in Donaldsonville, and then turn around and continue to upgrade that system and potentially carry it over to the East Bank in the Dyer-Hillerville area. And I think that's, to me, I think that's a smart move, in my opinion. Councilman Joseph?
Yeah, I just, once again, I want to thank administration for doing all they due diligence with this here project. Of course, People Water Company, you know, we say $5 million, but they started off around $10 million on the purchasing price on it. So however you look at it, we still got a bargain out the deal. Thanks for the parish president. Other thing is that, once again, we have a new industrial area on the West Bank, and this is very important because without utilities in the future, you know, it'd be limited to attract business. And when you start owning your own utility, you can attract business and putting stuff down. So once again, this is a very important purchase. And once again, I thank all of y'all, and I hope we can get this done in the next 3 or 4 months.
Anyone else? Councilman Lowell?
I think that's a great point Councilman Joseph just made. I find the timing of this really fortuitous for us. The fact that we just did this industrial overlay, and we're talking with economic development about how we can attract something there that's game changing for the entire West Bank. At the same time, we're now going to be in the water business to, even further, hopefully, make that attracting companies even go further. So I find that really great timing and very appreciative that we're moving forward in this, and appreciate all the effort to come this far.
And let me add to that, that there's a lot of interest since this article was published. I think there's about 10 companies now, the prospects, that are talking about that big parcel of land on the West Bank.
Clue on.
All right. Fellas, I just want to tell y'all that I think this is a good move. But not only that, it's not like we're just getting into the business, but as a total force, we're going to be able to give better service to the people in that area. And I sincerely look forward to some pipes coming under the river coming our way on the East Bank.
Very good. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thanks again for all the hard work in that. With that, we'll move on to item number 10.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Councilman Sadler. Second by Councilman Joseph. We are adjourned. Thank y'all.